checkpoint exercises for multi-step equations. With our first problem, we'll go ahead and distribute. It might be simpler to not distribute, but either way would work if we multiplied both sides by 4/3 or if we went ahead and distributed. So we'll go ahead and distribute. So 3/4 x plus 3/4 times 3 is 9/4 equals 3/2 x minus 1. All right, so get the constants on one side, minus 9/4 minus 9/4. So 1 is 4/4. So negative 4/4 minus 9/4 is negative 13/4 on the right-hand side. Subtract 3/2 x from both sides. And I'm going to go ahead and make that minus 6/4 on this side. So they have the same denominator. So that's going to be negative 3/4 x on the left-hand side. Multiply both sides by negative 4/3. The reciprocal of negative 3/4. The 4's cancel. We end up with x equals 13/3. Because we have a negative 4/3 and a negative 13/4, we know the answer is going to end up being negative. So that ends up being 13/3 or 4 1/3. Now the second problem, let's look at making the mixed number an improper fraction first. So 6 times 2 is 12 plus 5 is 17 6x equals 17 times x minus 1. And this is one of those instances where technically the next step would be that we're multiplying, distributing the 17 into the parentheses. But if you'll notice why I'm not going to do that in this instance, because we have a numerator on the left-hand side of 17. So if we divide both sides by 17, or equivalently multiply by 1/17, on this left-hand side, the 17s are going to cancel, and we're left with 1/6 x equals x minus 1. So we subtract x from both sides. That's minus 6/6. So 1/6 minus x, or minus 6/6 x, equals negative 5/6x equals, we're left with negative 1 on the right-hand side. Multiply both sides by negative 6/5. And we end up with, these cancel on the left-hand side. A negative times a negative is a positive. We have x equals 6/5, or 1 1/5. Now again, the first thing we should check, like with number 3, will 3.86 go into 19.3? Well, let's find out. 19.3 divided by 3.86. Move the decimal place 2 places. So we're wanting to see, will 386 go into 1930? Let's round down. 1900, let's round up. 400. So how many times will 400 go into 1900? We're looking at 4 times, but we rounded up and we rounded down. So let's go ahead and go down 1. Typically the estimation, you can go with the value you're estimating or up or down. So we'll go ahead and go down 1 to 3. 6 times 3 is 18. 8 down, carry your 1. 8 times 3 is 24. 25. 5 down, carry your 2. 3 times 3 is 9, 10, 11. So that's way too low. So we'll go ahead and go a step above it and go up to 5. 6 times 5 is 30. 0 down, carry your 3. 8 times 5 is 40. 3. 8 times 5 is 40 plus the 3 is 43. So 3 down, carry your 4. 3 times 5 is 15. Plus 4 is 19. So this just ends up being 19.3 divided by 3.86 ends up being 5. So if we divide both sides by 3.86, we're left with x plus 3 equals 5. Subtract 3 from both sides. And we end up with x equals 2. So this is an example of sometimes when it looks like it's complicated, and you can make it more complicated than what it is, you might want to go ahead and just check and see if there's an easier way to do it.